target. Maximum firepower.
Brace for impact.
Welcome to the Brace for Impact podcast, sponsored by Hondo's Command Token Emporium, where we give you a pair of tokens, your opponent gets the leftovers. It's not unfair, that's just business. This episode, we will quickly recap our latest tournament matches, talk about the thermal shields upgrade and how you should approach it, as well as review a couple of lists given to us by fellow Armada channel Downsizeit. And then the show notes also, we've got here an update.
We already went over this one in the last episode, right? The people who think that
Yeah. I'm still on board with the product in hand somewhere in the world by the end of 2021.
Really? You're still on board with that?
Oh yeah.
It's almost August. You don't want to come over to the reasonable and intelligent product conservatives side?
So
it's never too late to change, man.
Well, I can't change. I am the banner holder.
You're the banner holder. So if you fall, everyone falls.
I think that's the case, yeah.
What happens if everyone falls and they all come over to there's no product this year? Do we just automatically build your list?
I mean,
and you just eat the loss?
No. So here's the thing. Like, let's say it gets to October, right? And there's not even an announcement, right? Like,
there's not gonna be.
Let's just say, right, as a theoretical.
Tim doesn't think there's going to be product till 2023.
I know. So let's say that there's nothing, and it's October, right? I'm going to know at some point before, December 31st that, like, it's not happening, right? But I can't just switch sides, right? I made a deal. I'm committing to that. So once January 1st happens, if I lose, I lost. But I didn't switch sides. I didn't change my mind.
Well, anyone else can switch sides. if you're over on you're the mentally disturbed conspiracy idealists that think there's going to be product this year, 2021, you can just put in the comments that you've seen the error of your ways. You know that there's no way that AMG can do it.
Yeah. And
you just want to switch sides, and I'll put you on the list.
Here's the thing: AMG's gonna come out and do something crazy, like put out a new like 6x3 mat or something.
That will count.
I know it will. I know.
I will count that, dude. If anything with an AMG sticker on it that's for Armada, that counts.
Yeah, I agree.
They can re-release.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a hard sell, just in like.
A new package?
Just separate a new package, anything, any product, and it counts.
Yep.
I don't think they'll be able to do it.
I don't know. I mean, I believe in them, but I'm getting nervous. All right.
I honestly, I think AMG getting the Star Wars games, it's better for like Legion than for Armada and X-Wing, right?
Why?
What do you mean why? Do you not like watch their fucking turnout rate for Marvel Crisis Protocol? It's fucking obscene. I've never seen any release schedule like this in my entire goddamn life for any game ever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. How do they just pump out characters like it's nothing? Are the rules the same for every character? I don't know. It could be.
I don't know. But I'm ready for segment one. Let's talk about this tournament. This was what, last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
This tournament? Yeah. So we had a tournament last week.
Yeah, a bunch of people came.
That's true.
What did you bring? For
the tournament, I brought the Reckless Jedi list, which is a Republic list with a Venator, Acclimator, and a Pelta. And the Venator has the spot cannon, which I think is I think this build is probably like the best way to run a Venator as like a battleship as opposed to like a carrier. So it's Clone Captain Zach, Ordnance Experts, Spot Cannon, and then you got external racks, and then like an optional XI7 if you want to be even more annoying. XI7 is kind of only nice to have, not need to have, and I'll talk about why in a second. But basically, with the Venator here, you want to run it and drop the spot cannon out of the side arc rather than the front arc, because you already have 6 dice out of the front arc. Kind of hold back, drop the cannon, and you can shoot, 5 blue at a little bit longer than long range with it.
I think it's like a couple centimeters or something. It's not quite that far. Like just barely out of long range.
Right. But with Clone Captain Zach, right? So at long range, you can roll 5 blue, add an extra blue with Zach, and then concentrate fire another blue. If they get into close range, then you can throw external racks in the mix. So, I mean, if you add it all together, right, 5 blue and a black is the base. Then you can clone Captain Zach and X-Racks and concentrate fire and end up with 5 blue and 5 black out of the side arc. And then if they're double arc, you got another 6 dice coming out of the front arc. And I would say very few things survive the double shot like that.
I think if any of you have seen like one of our battle reports on YouTube, I think one of my Providence just gets absolutely deleted.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah. And at the tournament, it was like every time this guy shot, it was doing like 8 or 9 damage every shot. So
Jesus. Every shot or every activation?
Every shot with the cannon. Not counting the front arc. And
not counting the front arc.
Right. So, and the reason why I say XI7s is nice to have is like when you're rolling 5 blue, like you're probably getting 2 hit, 2 crit, 2 accuracy, like something like that. Like obviously like that's 6 blue, but like it's 33% chance of everything, right? So if you're getting 2 accuracy, like there's the redirect and the brace gone, right? So XI7 becomes irrelevant if you block both, but it's nice to have against ISDs with double redirects. It's nice to have against ECM.
Starhawks.
I've never shot at a Starhawk with a Venator, but
really,
that's actually a lie. But when I did shoot at the Starhawk, it was at speed 0.
So it got fucking destroyed.
Yeah. And what you can do, it's like Zach is really flexible because if I roll my pool of 5 blue and a black and I don't get any accuracies, I can be like, you know what, let me Zach another blue or concentrate another blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then X-Racks plus Ordnance Experts means like, you've got the potential for damage with black dice. It can really put a big hurting on. The rest of the list was basically carrier focused with an Acclimator with boosted comms, flight controllers, Navuta B, and Ahsoka. And then a Pelta with Clone Nav Officer, Bomber Command Center, boosted comms, and the title that lets you drop a command dial, which I decided that is not that great.
It's not that great?
Yeah, also Bomber Command Center is not that great when Navuta B's around. Like, Navuta B is just a cheaper, better Bomber Command Center. So, like I used to think Republic not having easy access to Bomber Command Center before the Pelta came out was like a big weakness, but like just like Navuta B is so good. Like, I would probably, if I ran this list again, drop Bomber Command for an expanded hangar bay on the Acclimator just to get one more Navuta B activation.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 V19s, 2 arcs, 2 B-wing or 2 Y-wings, and Anakin with precision strike, hyperspace assault, and volatile deposits. Although I believe I was first player both games of the tournament.
Probably the best choice for the other player, right? You don't want to.
Well, I think that's what they're thinking is objectives. Like you don't want to give 100 points of Rebel or of Republic squadrons like second player to like be annoying with whatever, but also like giving a Venator with a spot cannon first player is like toxic as well. So
that is pretty toxic.
Yeah, I won both my games. I think I ended up with a 10-1 and a 7-4 or something like that. So I think I ended up with second place in the tournament. It went pretty well. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. All you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you would change from your list? Just removing the title from that Pelta? Was it really that bad?
Remove the title. Well, yeah, I mean, the cool thing about it was with Admiral Yularen, like, if I want to repair a squadron, like, I can decide right now and just have it happen.
Yeah, because you basically, the title says you place 2 command dials.
Yeah.
2 different ones, and you pick which one you want for that round, right?
I mean, kind of. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not terrible.
No, it's
that's
not terrible, but I am just not repairing my squadrons enough. Like, I see that part of Yularen's like, ability.
Is that part of Yularen even useful at all? Do you ever find yourself using it?
I've used it a couple of times. It is useful. However, I think that actually removing Bomber Command Center and going for like a parts resupply and just having the tokens sitting around for a hull point here or there is way better than dialing in engineering commands on ships that want to be pushing squadrons.
Yeah, that's
if I flew this again, basically
maybe like a bad roll for the Pelta.
Basically, like, have the Pelta be clone nav officering squadron tokens to the rest of the ships, right? Because that part of Yularen is really crazy, where, like, the Acclimator with a token now it's 5 squadrons with Navuta B, and that's why I was thinking, like, okay, like, save the points.
Expanded hangar bay for 6.
Right. And, like,
yeah.
And then the Pelta can also do, activate another 4, right? So I can activate 10 squadrons just between the 2 of them with tokens. Like, that's the power of Yularen. Like, forget the repairs. Like, if someone does bring a list with where it's like a lot of enemy squadrons that I have to fight through, then, like, I have parts resupply to, like, repair like 1 or 2 or 3 hull to, like, make the difference. But I flew also like a double Pelta list that was like more involved in trying to heal my squadrons recently, and it's just overkill. Like, they don't need the health. Like, you're flying freaking like Y-wings and arcs with like 6 and 7 health. Like, if they're dying, you lost already. Like, something went wrong.
Yeah.
So I do think what would be cool is like a Venator with Triumphant that has like a bunch of Y-wings as like just defending it with transponder net. And in that case, Yularen healing them might be cool. But I need to play around with a list like that first.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a weird list.
What did you bring?
So I brought the Immortality Protocol for the tournament. So it's 2 recusants, Gilded Aegis, Patriot Fists, and a hard sell with some screening fighters and Grievous Commander. And the thing for this list was I wanted Patriot Fist, the kitted out Ordnance Experts, Intel Officer, Swivel Mount, Assault Concussion Missiles, Patriot Fist, Recusant, the one that slings hella dice from downfield.
Yeah.
And I wanted Gilded Aegis, but I wanted to push that to the max. I wanted to see how many shields I could get on a Recusant, and the answer to that question was quite a fucking lot. You can put quite a fucking lot of shields on Gilded Aegis. Because with the rules forum coming out, I saw that you can actually run your squadrons off the board to kill them, to activate Grievous, which makes Grievous, I think, infinitely better than the way he was, because I can decide when to evacuate a vulture from the fucking board and get a defense token back. So essentially for this list, I planned it out where after we put down command dials, I discard the redirect to move 3 shields to the front. So I got 6 shields on the front of Gilded Aegis. And we do the turn. I use Wat Tambor on Gilded Aegis to recover the shields that I just moved. And then at the end of the ship phase, move 3 more to another hull zone. So now I'm starting round 2 with 6 shields on the front, 6 shields on the side, 0 shields on another side. And throw another vulture off, and you just recover them back with reserve hangar decks. So you just run one off and recover it with reserve hangar decks, and then run another one off and recover it, and it lets you start round 2 or 3 with 6 shields on the front, 6 shields on another hull zone, and 5 shields on another one.
Yeah.
And so you just have a fuckload of shields on one of your recusants. It's ridiculous. And I actually ran up against an acclimator with Yularen that had expanded hangar bays and boosted comms. So it was slinging 6 squadrons at me. And let me tell you, that does not feel good when you only have like 80 points of squadrons. And they're slinging 6 at a time at you. But anyway, so what I found with this list was you can get a fuckload of shields on Gilded Aegis. That's cool. But it doesn't matter if they just don't attack it and they just kill everything else. Because even with Gilded Aegis kitted out with the commander, Wat Tambor, who's an expensive officer, all of the other upgrades, it's not that it's like 110 points, you know? Not that expensive. Pretty cheap, actually, for a flagship. And Patriot Fist is obviously the high priority target, so you get 1 shot off from Patriot Fist, maybe 2, and then it dies, which is fine. But Separatist unsupported squadrons are weak as fuck. And so they kill your 80 points of squadrons, and then they just kill your hard cell, and then they win.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of building a fleet around this one specific interaction for Gilded Aegis, and then you do it, and they just are like, oh, well, we'll just ignore that part of your list and kill everything else. And it didn't really work out for me very well. I got fucking 11th place. So didn't go quite as good as I thought it would. But I keep running Patriot Fist like it's a fucking ISD, where I'm just trying to cut it into the side and just do a shitload of damage and everything's fine. But they just are like, well, I'll just throw all these Y-Wings at you, and then it's dead. And I'm like, fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But both of my games went like that. And I just, like, I did the combo with Gilded Aegis. I put fuckload amount of shields on it, and they were just like, yeah, we're just not going to deal with that. That seems like a fucking problem. And killed everything else. That was it. And I lost. But you can get a lot of shields onto Gilded Aegis with General Grievous. So
Do you think maybe running Gilded Aegis with another ship that's a little bit tougher?
like a Providence?
Yeah.
No. Because here's the thing. Here's what I'm really irritated about with Separatist right now. If you do that, you have like 40 points that you can't spend.
Yeah.
You can't get another activation. It's 2 ships and some squadrons, and that's it. No flotillas. Hard cell won't fit because it's too expensive.
Do you,
So you have
do you run
2 ships.
Gilded Aegis as a light destroyer or a support?
Light destroyer, yeah. I was thinking about running as a support, but I don't know. I think that one's more like leaning towards a carrier, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sucky.
I mean, I had fun. It was really cool to like put all the shields onto the Gilded Aegis and make everything work, and you know, at least knowing that you can fly your squadrons off the board to trigger Grievous is cool. I mean, now you can like stick to the edge of the board and then, you know, just spend your brace with impunity, and when you need to back fly a fucking squadron off the board, fucking great. That's fucking really cool. I like that. But for this tournament, at least, didn't really work out.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
All right. So let's move on into segment 2. The thermal shields segment.
Thermal shields.
So what made you pick
Now
thermal
we're making
shields?
we're making this a whole fucking segment because I have never seen a card that was so controversial.
Really?
And I wanted to talk about it because it's, pretty rules intensive. But as I was creating this segment, I was like, let me see, what is affected by thermal shields and then what can kind of counter it kind of thing. And I don't think any card in all of Armada affects as many cards as thermal shields does.
Really?
Like, thermal shields by existing makes at least 20 cards worse.
I think it was designed to make a bunch of those cards worse, right?
Is that okay?
Sure. It's like balance,
Sure.
right? It's like balance instead of adjusting points. Like you print new content that shifts. It's kind of like the interaction between XI7 and advanced projectors. Thank you. That there was this back and forth where which one was the winner, and teching one or the other would the more advanced projectors in your area, the more XI7s you would want to take, right? This is kind of like that, where thermal shields is really good, but what it's bad against, right? If there's a ton of people running thermal shields, then you'll see more people going for external racks or Clone Captain Zack or Patriot Fist, right? Things that add dice to the pool after the fact.
I would agree with that if it wasn't only Clone Warship. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, thermal shields, medium, large ship. You can spend a brace. If you do, choose and remove half of the dice in the attack pool rounded down.
Mm-hmm. So if there's 5, you can only
they get 2.
You can take away 2.
Anyway, so you choose and remove half of the dice in the attack pool rounded down. But it's... God, you're fucking me up with this ice, dude.
I'm sorry. No more ice.
Why?
No more ice.
We talked about this.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to say something again. You're like... It's so loud. Okay, so it's not quite as bad as I thought it was, because I thought you round the amount of dice down. But whatever, we went over that.
Why is this card so divisive?
Because it's fucking obnoxious.
Why?
And because of how many cards it affects. Okay?
Okay.
So the problem is the person who's defending gets to choose what dice are removed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. So you can just completely lock someone out of a color of dice.
Yep. So for example, if a Venator's front arc shoots you, a Venator 2, right? It's 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red. You can remove 3 dice and say no blacks or no blues.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
no blacks, no blues.
It's wild.
Which means there are certain upgrades that you can take that will just do nothing for you against the thermal shielded ship. And there are certain cards to kind of mitigate the effect of thermal shields, but there's not very many.
Yeah.
And not all factions get access to them. So for Republic, it's Clone Captain Zack, and it's only out of your side. Basically, the only way to get around thermal shields is to add dice in your attack pool, because attack pool is not your battery armament.
Yeah.
So you roll your battery. Well, they basically remove the die before you roll.
Right.
And any card that says add it to your attack pool, you can do that after you're rolling.
Right.
So it basically avoids thermal shields. So Clone Captain Zack can do that only from your side.
But if they've removed a color, he cannot add it back.
Exactly. unless you have some other way of adding that color into the attack pool.
Right.
Like for clone gunners.
You add a blue that way.
Yeah. But you gotta discard a token from another friendly ship, blah, 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 add a blue die, set to the accuracy icon.
So like swivel mount batteries says, while attacking a ship from that hull zone, add a die of any color from the adjacent hull zone's armament to your attack pool.
Yeah.
So how does that work with thermal shields?
Same way I was just saying. So you roll, and then you can add swivel mount afterwards.
Right.
But you can add any die color.
Yeah, that's in the other.
And then you would be able to clone Captain Zack. Let's say you had 2 black, 2 red. They remove both blacks, but you roll the 2 red, and then you can swivel a black, like from your side if it's got a black on it, and then you can clone Captain Zack another black. You know?
Right.
But then you're only getting back to your normal battery armament.
Right.
And you've got to use 2 upgrade cards to do it.
Yeah. There are other cards to help get around thermal shields, like quad battery turrets, adding a blue dice, slave turrets, adding a red die, Paragon, Defiance, Dominator, Devastator, right? Like all of those things.
Yeah. But the main one, the best one, I think,
Akbar.
is Akbar does it too?
Yeah.
He adds to attack pool, not to battery?
It may add 2 red dice to its attack pool.
Wow. Akbar is just so fucking good.
I know.
But anyway, the one I was talking about is the external ranks.
Yeah.
I think is the main one to talk about, is attacking at close range to add 2 black die.
Yep. Because they're always going to try to get rid of your black dice.
To like mitigate other crit effects.
Preventing APTs or whatever.
Or anything, yeah. But I think external racks is better than APT and ACM now because of thermal shields.
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely. It goes up in power for sure.
Because, I mean, if they just remove all your black die when you're attacking, I mean, you could just go the whole game and not be able to use your crit effect.
Yeah, right. That's like
so I think
the whole point.
External racks is a way better choice nowadays than any other. So there are a couple cards. Well, there are actually exactly 2 cards that just get absolutely shit on by thermal shields just because they have bad timing, and it's Intel Officer and heavy Turbolaser turrets.
Yeah, well, Intel Officer, I feel like, see, here's the thing. I feel like Intel Officer kind of deserved it, right? Because he's kind of a dick.
He is kind of a dick. That Intel Officer is the dickest card.
It's just it. I know it's 7 points, but it just feels like it costs them nothing to just tell me that if I use my brace, I have to get rid of it. You know?
Yeah. And it's an awful card.
And so, like, putting thermal shields on is just a giant middle finger to Intel Officer, which I love.
Yeah.
Heavy Turbolaser turrets is like, do people?
I don't think anybody runs that, like, but it does get fucked by thermal shields
because they get to brace.
Like, and not even care about heavy Turbolaser turrets.
It just doesn't
what an awful effect. It like wants to be thermal or XI7s, and it's just dog shit.
Why is it bad compared to XI7s?
Because they just brace, and it's fine.
You always just only brace.
Here's why. It's not a good opener. Because then they just brace and take it on the shields. Okay?
Yeah.
XI7s is really good as an opener because they can only move 1. And even if they take all the braced damage on their shields, you're probably getting hulled.
I don't know why. Okay, so like XI7s, no matter how many defense tokens you spend, you can redirect 1, right? Why does heavy Turbolaser turrets have the unless it is the only token spent? Like, why can't brace just only reduce the damage total by 2, right?
Because then everyone would always take heavy Turbolaser turrets. Then it would be extremely better.
But you don't have to make it more than 1, right? You could say while attacking, the brace cannot reduce the damage total by more than 2. You know what I mean? Like,
still way better.
Is it better than XI7s then?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But the problem isn't how much it reduces; it's that it reduces it at all. Because then imagine running up against a Simoon with heavy turbolaser turrets and XI7s. Then you're fucked.
but
Okay?
but they could both be modifications.
That's true. One of them should be a modification if you had your way.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about the fucking cards that don't give a shit about thermal shields. That add straight to. Oh wait, no, not the ones that don't give a shit. The ones that are fucked.
These are fucked by
thermal shields. These are the ones that are fucked by it, yeah. So, one of my favorite ion upgrades is high-capacity ion turbines. Battery armaments for your left and right hull zones increased by 1 blue die. Woo! I love this one. It's amazing. 8 points. Why the fuck is it so expensive?
What do you mean? It adds a blue die.
It's so good.
It's so good.
But like...
It's a little overpriced. Speaking of overpriced expanded launchers.
This is... Look, whenever I see expanded launchers, I know I'm playing against someone who's new.
Yep. Because on paper, it looks amazing, right?
It looks so good. It's like battery armament of your front hull zone increased by 2 black die.
Yeah.
Guess how many points it is? 13.
Right. You could have
so
3 ships
expensive.
get X-Racks.
Yeah, exactly. And 6 black die.
Right. It's just like, here's the thing with expanded launchers. Like, how many times are you rolling black die out of your front hull zone? Right?
Well, that's not really the problem. The problem is, like, your opponent sees it. They're like, oh, expanded launchers on this ship? Oh, we'll just not be there.
Right.
The thing with X-Racks is it's any hull zone.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Add 2.
2.
4 points, not 13 fucking points.
Yeah.
Out of your front.
Wow, expanded launchers could say what if expanded launchers was a refreshable X-Racks for 13 points? Would it be worth it?
Yes. Like if it was like X-Racks, but you discard it and then refresh it at the end of the round.
Like with a concentrate fire token or something?
Yeah, that would be worth it. Yeah.
And I don't think it would be insane. I think it would be okay. Because you're not going to get it to go off 3 times. Like 3 times you're going to get it to go off?
The problem with that, like, if it's like refreshable, then it would be tappable, like Clone Nav Officer and all the other clone officers.
That's fine.
Then it's targetable by MS1s.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. But like, then it would be fucking worth it. The problem is like,
what?
It's only the front hull zone.
Right.
God, that's so terrible.
And then you got rapid reload, spinal,
what do you
enhanced armament. Just going through the rest
of
of them. We've talked enough about expanded launchers. It's a card that is dead.
They're yeah, it's too expensive is what. But yeah, all the other ones, rapid reload, spinal armament, enhanced armament, they get fucked by thermals because they specifically add to the battery armament, not the attack pool. So they get cut.
Now, what I will say is it depends on how big your battery armament is, whether or not it is upset by thermal shields. So, for example, if I have 2 blue die out of the side only, let's say, right? And I have high capacity ion turbines to make it 3, right? Thermal shields, either way, is just taking away 1 blue die. You know what I mean? Like, it still gets its impact. It's when you have 3 blue die and you add a 4th blue die and then it goes to 2 blue die that you're like, wow, why did I do anything at all, I guess? Well, no, I think it always...
Yeah, because it's rounded down, right?
It always adds 1, but...
Yeah. It's just thermal just fucks them so much. Like, can you imagine spending enhanced armament
10 points, and then this like
on like, let's say it's like on 2 ships,
right?
And they just get fucking cut from thermal shields
for 5 points, right?
For 5 points, it's like
sucky.
But the biggest thing that thermal shields does is lets you choose what die you're removing.
Right.
So you can basically look at their ship, see what kind of like upgrade cards they have with crit effects, and just like
take away those colors. I know.
Just take them away.
It's nuts, right?
The worst.
ACM is bodied. APT, bodied.
Fucking.
Overload pulse, bodied, right?
Yeah.
Heavy ions.
NK7s.
Boom.
And basically anything that says a color of die and crit is completely fucked by thermal shields. Because even if your entire armament is a certain color, they just cut it in half.
Right, so you get less chances.
So your chances of getting the crit is reduced, especially for the fucking Onager.
Get wrecked.
Both of their heavy turbo laser cannons, wrecked.
They deserve it.
I agree, but they're both ignition red.
Yeah.
So just take out all the reds.
Can you take out every single red?
You can't, but you can take out a lot of them. And so even when they get because the Onager, people who run Onagers, they have the super heavy turbo laser beams, and then they have that one weapons team that turns their die from an accuracy to a crit, and so they always get their crit. Now they get their crit, but both of them. Well, I think the blue one, the composite beam turbo lasers, counts how many crits you have, and that's how much more damage you do.
Right.
All right. Well, now your extra 5 damage has been cut to 2 damage.
Right.
And so your 10 damage shot is now 4. So.
Well, do people usually run the test bed or the Star Destroyer with the Onager?
Depends.
Well,
I think both of them are viable, but for different things.
Okay, so the Star Destroyer is 3 red, 2 blue, 2 black. You could take away all the reds.
Yeah, and just take them all out.
The test bed you can't.
They can't use their 7 fucking point upgrade. Yeah, the test bed you can't take away all.
But you can leave them with 1.
You can take out a lot.
You can leave them with literally 1 red, right?
Yeah.
It's an extreme range, right? They only got reds, and you lose. Yeah, and you just evaded us. I mean, you can't take away all.
Or just take it. It's
whatever. It's really bad for the Onager for sure.
Completely crippling.
Yeah. All right, you want to talk about some cards that are good against thermal shields?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
There's not many. The big hitters are for Rebels and Empire, and it's Shriv Surgav for Rebels.
Never flown this guy before.
Never flown him. Maybe you should. And Darth Vader for Empire.
So Shriv and Darth Vader both remove upgrade cards, right? They get on board the ship and break something, right? So
yep.
Shriv for some reason is more expensive and
but more restricted.
Worse
than I don't get that at all.
I mean, Vader, I guess, is Vader, so he's OP, right? But what?
But why is Shriv so much more expensive? He double the cost of Vader.
Yeah.
Can only hit certain upgrades. But he can hit the defensive retrofit. So if your Rebel list is having a real problem, cutting through thermal shields, if you've got fucking MC-80 Defiance and you really want to do some fucking damage, maybe put Shriv Surgav on a hammerhead, pluck the thermal shields off of the fucking Venator or the Providence, and then just fucking slam them.
Right. Because you do it before you attack, right?
Yes.
Which is
so
great.
They can't spend their thermals and you just fucking destroy it.
Yeah. And then
Vader is a fucking great option because you can put him on a raider for 3 fucking points.
Yeah, he's cheap as hell.
Get him in there. It's easy. Another great one is boarding troopers because you can, tap their brace, spend their brace, and then if they want to use thermals at that point, then they've got to fucking discard it, and then there you go.
Right. Those are the 3 raiding. It's not raid technically, but they get on board the enemy ship and do some.
The boarding teams, yeah.
The boarding teams, yeah, they're all good.
Yeah.
And then you have swivel mount batteries.
Obviously, because you can just add a black or whatever die. You're adding a black with swivel mounts, right? You're not adding a fucking blue or a red, right?
If you have a black available, but.
What do you mean if you have that black available? You're putting this on a ship so that you can swivel a black. You don't put it on. You don't put it on a ship that doesn't have a black that you can swivel.
Is that 100% true? I don't know.
I think it's 100% true.
Look,
if anyone has a fucking build where you put swivel mounts on a ship, the 8-point swivel mount, and you're not swiveling a black at long range.
So the only ship that
tell me what it is.
You could put it on a consular cruiser, the Charger, the red dice Charger.
Mm-hmm.
And that would give you 3 red out of the front. I don't
For
know.
8 points?
But
Fuck
what you
off.
could do is swivel the blue to the side. I don't know. Neither of these seem
Yeah,
great.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Because what I could do is just get spinal for 1 more point instead.
Exactly.
And then
or TRC or slave
right, you're putting
turrets.
TRC on this, aren't you? Like, I guess.
Exactly.
And then every other Republic ship has a black die on its side arc except for the Venator 2. But again, swivel mount's not going on a Venator 2 necessarily. You're putting that on the Venator 1 and running a spot cannon. Oh, no, you're not. Yeah, you're just running a spot cannon. You're not swiveling anything. Fuck that.
Exactly. So.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about that.
XI7s is another good one.
Why?
Well, because even if they cut your dice pool, then they can't redirect whatever is remaining. Like, even when you cut, like, let's say you cut in ISDs, you can still take 3-4 damage.
Yeah.
And then with XI7s, then it shields down, baby. You can only take so much fucking damage on a ship before you're fucking dead. Before shields are down, you're fucking getting to hull, alright?
That's true.
XI7s, one of my favorite cards, always helps with that. And then this last card absolutely fucks thermal shields over. And it's Mon Carin.
Because of the timing?
Because of the timing.
Mon Carin.
It's all encompassing. While attacking a ship, the defender cannot spend more than 1 defense token during this attack. So if they choose to do thermals, that's it, baby.
They're done.
They're done. Can't redirect, no contain, no evade, nothing.
So this see now I've been thinking about building a rebel list with an MC80, and like I wonder how much like gobbledygook I could put on it to fuck a thermal up afterwards, right? Like you could put QBTs on there,
XX9s, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see what nasty Liberty we can make. Let's see this. I'm gonna pull up a fucking Liberty. What do we want? With the battle cruiser, right? With the battle cruiser. With the fucking Mon Carin. With the fucking motherfucking. We don't need XI7s, right?
Wait, you just put SW7s on it, right?
Yeah, you put SW7s.
Because you don't need accuracies.
Yeah, they can't redirect anyway.
They can't spend any tokens at all. If you know, like once they've spent their brace beforehand, which you can't accuracy anyway, like that's it.
You do spinals, and then XX9s. Yeah, that sounds good.
You don't add I mean, no. Wouldn't you rather do QBTs than spinals because it adds the die that?
No,
not QBT. Yeah, QBT. Yeah, because spinal can be cut in half.
Yeah, I don't like anything that determines how fast that can go.
Because you want to go fast?
I don't like QBTs. I want to go fast. Do you do Kaken and Sholen or Gunnery teams since you're already doing concentrate fires? Because we got 4 reds. Ugh. Is there any other way for the rebels to fucking reroll?
What about weapons battery techs? You get an accuracy, you turn it into more damage.
You already have... I've already got SW7s on this shit. Why do I want to change it to a crit?
Because you picked a battle cruiser, which means red dice.
No. See, I would pick...
Kaken?
Either Kaken and Sholen or Gunnery teams. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
And then whatever fucking officer you want. Maybe DCO. No, they don't have fucking... They don't have contain? What the hell?
No, you have to get the title to get contain.
Oh, that's garbage.
It's only 4 points.
What do you take for the officer?
I mean, if we're talking about specifically being annoying to thermal shields.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what we're talking about.
Then you probably take Antilles to get the reroll token.
Antilles?
Yeah, Remus Antilles. The reroll token.
Yeah.
I mean, Ahsoka kind of does the same thing for 5 points cheaper by just giving you a token when a friendly ship, like you just steal a token and make it whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any rebel officer that just says, do more damage.
Yeah, that sucks. Mon Carin, super great choice.
True.
I think it's just is it even good though? Like the MC80 battlecruiser?
Hell yes.
Hell yes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
MC80 battlecruiser is so good, dude. Double brace is strong.
Anyway, you want to move on to the list review?
Yeah, let's talk
the
about a couple of
Downsizeit list
lists.
review.
So Downsizeit sent us 2 lists to take a look at. In our list review segment, we kind of judge each list based off of the following criteria: presentation, smell, texture, taste, and creativity.
Yep.
If you want your list reviewed, send it on in. Either comment on our videos, and we'll take a look at it. So the first one, are they really called Downsizeit 1 and Downsizeit 2?
Well, I mean, he doesn't name them like we do, and I didn't fucking ask. So
Oh, okay.
yes, they're called Downsizeit 1 and Downsizeit 2.
Okay. So Downsizeit 1, these are both Imperial lists. They're both Thrawn lists. They're both, yeah. So the first one here is 2 ISDs, an ISD-2, and a Kuat. It's 73 points of squadrons. The first one, the Imperial 2, has Thrawn, Commander Vanto, Gunnery Team, ECM, Leading Shots, XI-7, Chimaera, and Entrapment formation. With a Kuat that has Palpatine Officer, Gunnery Team, Leading Shots, ACM. Then the squadrons are Merrick Jendon, 2 TIE Defenders. Then you've got Targeting Beacons, Asteroid Tactics, and Superior Positions as the objective cards. What do you think about this list from a presentation, smell, texture, taste, and creativity perspective?
Well, I don't know. I just think that it's so fucking dangerous to take just a 2-ship list at all.
Yeah.
Like, not having 3 activations is detrimental, I think, to just being able to win a game or control the board at all.
Right. No, this list doesn't look like it's bidding for first. So as second player, they make it a pass token.
Yeah. And also it's at 400 points, so you don't even get to decide if you want second or first. Like, you're just leaving it up to your opponent to look at your list and say, well, I've got fighter ambush, so I'll just take second and put all my fighters right in front of you, and I'll just cut away. You know, like, doesn't that sound awful to you? Like,
I feel like if you're going to run a 2-ship list, you want to have a bid, right?
you got to be able to decide, right? If you're going first or second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I had to, right, I would probably take out Entrapment formation. Because I have Thrawn anyway, I don't need the nav, right? I don't need the speed up, speed down thing.
Yeah.
I can just Thrawn a nav dial out on turn 3 or whatever turn it is that I want to jump them.
Well, really, the Thrawn, what you do is you nav on your ships and change that, and you just make Thrawn the concentrate fire.
Right. Because you're not going to become squadron commanding, really, right? I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, even a 5-point bid suddenly takes this to a place where, like, okay, at least against the 400-point, like, squadron carrier builds, you can get first player. Because I think with a Kuat, not just a 2-ship list, but a Kuat ISD, you need first player. You want it so bad because...
Yeah, because if they're in the front, they just move that ship away, and you can't get black dice in.
Right. So, get a bid. I don't think... Like, and something you'll see, like, both of Downsizeit's lists are Thrawn lists with an ISD, Commander Vanto. Like, you're going thematic. I love it.
Let's just give him a 5 out of 5 for presentation. Because he's going Thrawn, he's going Vanto, Chimaera with the Fleet Command, another ISD, he's got the Defenders. Presentation it's right there with what Thrawn wants to be and how he wants to be.
Right. Oh, but I think on the Kuat... Okay, so let me talk about this Kuat. Number 1, how many rounds of fire are you going to get out of the front arc?
1.
Maybe 2.
With this Kuat? No, not with this Kuat. You need ECM if you want 2 rounds of fire from your Kuat.
No, I think it'll die.
I know it'll die if you don't have ECM. What are you talking about? If you can't brace?
Yeah.
On an ECM with a 2-ship list?
Yeah.
You're going to get 1 round of fire, that's it.
And then, like, you got to have ordnance experts, right? And just go X-Racks and forget the ACMs.
No. See, that's not how I build Kuats. Because he's got Emperor Palpatine.
So
on this. So when an enemy ship or unique squadron declares you as the target of an attack, it has to spend one of its defense tokens. So the way you go for that, you put local fire control on it. They attack you, you attack back. You run the Kuat up there so that when they attack you, you've got red, blue, black to fire back at them after they spend one of their defense tokens. And you've got ECMs to protect yourself.
Okay, what do you put
That's what you do.
in the... do you leave ACM there? Assault concussor missiles?
I used to like running ACM and APT, but I think with thermals now, you have to have the external racks. Your Kuat's going to die no matter what.
Are we taking leading shots out or leaving it in?
Yeah, you have to take leading shots out to make room for it.
So it's Palpatine, LFC, ECM, external racks.
But, like, I would make room for, like, you want to put PDICs on this because it can't... You've only got 4 squadrons. You can't...
Well, you can't take LFC.
You can't deal with that.
Wait. Isn't... hold on. What is PDIC?
Point Defense Ion.
No, I know what it is, but what upgrade slot is it?
Ion.
Oh, well, there's nothing in there.
Ion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could just take it. It's a cheaper leading shots.
I know, but, like, now we're at 401 points. So, like,
other
things have to get moved around.
I think that the ISD2 would have a couple of changes we can throw in there.
Yeah, but the fighter screen isn't big enough. It's not bulky enough. Like, if this goes against, like, Lumiplo V19s and Y-Wings, those squadrons aren't even going to be there. And the Kuat's going to get torn apart.
And gunnery teams,
but if you got PDICs on it.
Gunnery teams on an ISD2 is fine, but on a black dice ship, gunnery teams, there's not enough area to be reliably hitting multiple targets with your black dice. And if that's the case, then why is it a Kuat? So I think like taking gunnery teams out, putting LFC in there is fine. And if we look at...
Because local fire control is good, because, I mean, if you get the bid, if you win the bid, you can run your Kuat up there and then, you know, shoot them with local fire control when they shoot back at you, and then you get the first activation, you hit them again. You know, you can really fuck some shit up.
And you just go intensify firepower instead of entrapment formation. Right?
Entrapment formation.
Right, you just
the problem with that is expensive. Right now we're
I
debating like how many points.
Right, but I don't want to like change the theme of his list. Like he wants to run Chimaera, Thrawn, Vanto, double ISD. Right, like if you're taking Chimaera, you have to take one of these things. Like which one?
Dude, I think where we get the points is you take the leading shots off of the Imperial too, and you put it with PDICs again. Because again, the fighter screen is not enough.
Well, yeah, but that's
just Merrick Gen and 2 defenders. If you put PDICs on both of your ISDs, you're mitigating a huge amount of damage. You want your ISD Kuat to be up the front anyway,
right? With
local fire control, Emperor Palpatine, all that stuff. So you know, maybe even with the ships, you're going to be at close range. So you're going to be making them re-roll those die as well. Because PDICs works on ships and squadrons.
Okay, so here's what I've got. The ISD2 with Thrawn, Vanto, Gunnery Team, ECM, XI7, Chimaera, and Intensify Firepower. The Kuat with Palpatine, LFC, ECM, PDIC, X-Rax, Merrick, Jendon, 2 ties. 2 tie defenders.
396?
396.
So no PDIC on ISD2? I mean, that can work.
ISD2 has ECM.
I mean, no PDIC on it is what I'm saying. Right. No extra point.
Well, yeah, I think he's staying farther back, right? Like you're not like the IC2, like you don't want to be the one in close range or distance 1. Like that's the Kuat. Like keep him back. That's why he still gets gunnery teams because he's blue red.
And you can use Vanto and you can get intensify firepower every round.
Yeah.
And then when your ISD Kuat, if you roll your die and you whiff, you can just tilt one of them to a hit on your salvo or on any of your fucking hits, you know? Yeah.
If you wanted to go for a bigger bid with this, I would remove gunnery team on the ISD2.
That's rough because you've only got 2 ships, so you're not going to be shooting that much.
Yeah. Well, then the other option is like external racks on the Kuat.
I have X-Racks on the Kuat.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you wanted to get a bigger bid, like what do you take out?
Yeah, you take external racks off, which it's really shitty because you're really losing out on damage because you want the Kuat to do its role.
And his objectives: targeting beacons, asteroid tactics, and superior positions. So
why targeting beacons?
So targeting beacons.
That's the worst one, right?
Well, he's getting rerolls.
That's
right.
That's just
The problem with
That's
targeting
not-
beacons though is that there's only 4 tokens, and the enemy gets to place 2 of them. So you really only get 2 targeting beacons, which means maybe 2 of your shots you'll get a reroll in. It's not as impactful as you might think. Because if I'm your opponent, I'm just going to put 2 of them away so that they're nowhere near anything.
Yeah, I think he might have been having a problem because he had gunnery teams on both of them, so he just didn't take advanced gunnery.
Right.
Because that interaction doesn't work.
But you can put it now that we took it out.
Now you can put it on the Kuat. Now the Kuat's fucking dangerous.
Right.
And now they've got to pick between your other ones.
Right. Okay, that's fair. And then Asteroid Tactics. I mean, this one's...
I don't like that one.
This one's fine because it's recovering defense tokens, like the Kuat's...
But it doesn't give you anything. Like, it doesn't give you victory points.
No, but what it does do is it allows you to charge your Kuat over asteroid fields, recovering tokens, readying tokens, and it's like an extra defensive retrofit on the Kuat. What would you put instead?
But is it fire lanes?
Yeah.
Because now I'm controlling the battlefield, which is what you want to do when you're second player.
True.
I know where, at least in the part of the board that they want their ships to go. And if I'm outranged by, like an acclimator with Yularen boosted comms and shit, I can just sit on the objectives and have them come to me.
Yep.
And when they start to come to me, leap out with my Kuat and tear them apart.
True. That's a good one. Fire lanes is good for double ISD. And then the last objective...
Superior positions.
It's fine.
Superior positions is good, but I think since he doesn't have that much squadron presence,
you go Solar
that can
Corona
turn against
instead
him,
then?
You go Solar Corona instead, yeah.
Because that's
Solar Corona is better for ships if you don't have very many squadrons, and Superior Positions is better for lists that have more squadrons.
Right. And you just wherever they deploy, you just deploy coming at them from the Solar Corona side, right? So then like your front arcs are never going to have to worry about that. So that's great.
And that can work really well. Because then that can help because they don't accuracy your defense tokens very much, and it makes your only 2 ships more survivable.
Yeah. I think that if I were to run a 2 IC list, and trying to keep the same theme that he's looking for here with Thrawn, Vanto, and Chimaera, this could do well, I think. It's just the 2-ship list is tough. So he did give us another list that wasn't 2 ships.
Yeah.
Which is the same ISD2, Thrawn, Vanto, Gunnery, ECM, leading shots, XI7, Chimaera, take evasive action, which is basically 200 points. And then the other 200 points, we said, well, what if the second half of the list was squadron-focused with a Quasar and flight controllers, Gazanti, and then more squadrons. So it's 3 ties, Merrick Jendon, Zerdik, and Captain Jonas.
Yeah.
What do you think about this variant on the Downsizeit list?
This version is just way better.
Yeah.
In almost all regards, because you've got your defenders, you've got Merrick Jendon, which we haven't talked about, but it's the best fucking combo for squadrons. Yeah. And then you've got Zertik Strom, which I really like as a TIE Advanced Squadron. And then Captain Jonas, which is like a little bit off for me. Because like I see what he's trying to do. He wants Jonas to bomb, and then he attacks it with the ISD2, and he can get a free accuracy. But like it's rolling 4 blues. So like you're gonna get one.
Right. Right.
It's like you want to like change one of the blanks to another accuracy, I guess, from the reds. But for that, you just switch out, take evasive action for intensify firepower. Like Vanto allows you to charge your fleet command every round. You just will always have it up.
Right.
Vanto's the boy. He just lets it happen every turn. So you don't have to worry about it. And you should just take something like Sienna Ree, 1 point more, interceptor, always obstructed, counter 2. You put her next to Zertik Strom. That's really good.
So you think swapping Sienna in is...
I would personally swap Sienna in just because I've played with the ISD2 a lot. It is, without a doubt, one of the strongest and most powerful ships in Armada. You put a ship in front of it, it'll fucking destroy it. You don't need help with accuracies or anything like that. I mean, it's got XI7s.
Right.
It's got everything. It's got Gunnery team. It's got Vanto. It's got Thrawn. You're already fucking destroying the ship.
Yeah.
You don't need more accuracies. 1 round, 2 round, it's over. The problem is when you go up against other lists that have more powerful squadron presence than you do. Actually, this is a fucking big squadron. It's 121 points.
Yeah, 120.
120? Yeah. It's like, this is a more well-rounded list than the other one. Just by separating the Kuat into a Quasar and a Gazanti.
Yep.
A little bit more squadrons.
And if you keep the changes we made to the ISD2, this list ends up being 395 points, so you do have a bit of a bid there. I would probably change Advanced Gunnery out, since you have Gunnery teams on the only ship that you care about shooting. And maybe
that's true, I would change that as well. Yeah, what do you do here?
I think you do Precision Strike, or...
For all the bombers? Yeah, because you got Merrick and you got the Defenders. Precision Strike works out good.
Yeah. You can still leave Fire Lanes and Solar Corona. Like,
I would be a little bit more wary with Fire Lanes, because if they have double MC80s, they'll just completely power own you.
Yes, but you get to place them in front of your ISD2, so you at least get 3 rounds of.
They get to move them. They get to move them though.
Yeah,
they get to move them up to 2.
So what about?
I would go for something more like contested outpost.
True, and you can just park there.
Park there, yeah. And then I would switch out Solar Corona for superior positions or another.
Oh yeah, you can go back to superior positions now because you have bombers.
But the second one he has is pretty solid.
Yeah.
There's not much we changed. We changed a squadron and 1 upgrade.
Yep.
That's all we changed?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was really the Kuat that we did most of the changes to on the last list, eh?
Yeah, the Kuat, yeah. The Kuat wasn't like synergizing with like itself.
Yeah. Cool. Good list. Thanks for sending them in.
And thank you for asking us to review your lists.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Got anything else for today?
No, do an outro, plug our stuff. Tell them to listen to fucking
I don't have any
YouTube videos.
I don't have any outro in the show notes, so.
Oh, you shithead! You're gonna make me come up with a fucking outro just so you can. This is why I make you say shit like we're sponsored by Hondo. All right.
We are sponsored by Hondo and Rapid Launch Base.
This is a Rapid Launch Base podcast.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. Well, next time I'll have a fucking outro for you. Goddamn.
You can record an outro later too.
I won't do that.
Okay, ta-ta for now.
All right, bye.